Hi everybody, welcome to Paper Wishes Weekly Webisodes. I'm Lene Gehrig, and today from our friends at Cosmic Shimmer, I've got these silicone molds. They are so fun to play with. This one is a rose mold and this fantastic dual butterfly. And you guys, this is the card I made using the rose mold. Look at the dimensions. I made this using air dry clay, but I've also got a technique using crystal lacquer for the butterflies. So many fun things to show you. This is our giveaway card for this episode, so if you stick around, you'll learn how one lucky viewer could win this card to keep or share with a friend. So come play with us. All right, for my air dry clay, I am using Hardy Yellow super lightweight modeling clay and also white that comes in this big brick because we use white so much more than the color. So what I'm going to do is, the first thing I'm going to mention, when you take some out, you have to be prepared to use it right away because this stuff dries really quickly. And one of the biggest tips I can give you is how to prepare your package for when you're closing it up. So you want to have some tape ready and then fold it like this, kind of down, and then you're just going to get all of the air out of that before you start rolling and just roll it as tight as you can to have it closed so that there's no sort of gap. And then take some tape and just strap that down like this and then put this in an airtight container or a Ziploc bag, all right? Because any air that gets in here is going to dry the top part of it out. And it's just, you don't want that to happen. All right, so here is my air dry clay in the yellow and also the white. And what I did for this card is I just took some of it straight out of the package, bright yellow, just like this. And you don't really have to condition it much, although I did just kind of get it into a ball. And then you sort of push this into your shape, your mold, like this. And then you're just going to take the excess and do this. You just sort of scrape off the excess. You know, this piece is already dried out, but anyway, there's part of it. Let me show you it with a better piece. The top of that was just sitting out too long. Yeah, I mean, if you leave it sit out for like a minute, it starts to dry. So it's really, really fast drying. Okay, so you're pushing that in, and then you're just scraping off the excess of that. So it's pretty even with the top of the mold. Just like that. Just keeping the pressure on that, scraping it off. And then you're just going to kind of push everything back to the center, like that, so that you don't have anything hanging over the edge. And then you just push it from the bottom and it just pops out like that. Look at that beautiful dimension. And it's because it's so deep and intricately carved. All right, now we're going to take the white and add some yellow to it. And really, you just don't even need much yellow. Some off of that scrap. And you're just going to smush it together. And we're just going to make that medium size. There we go. And I'm going to leave it a little bit variegated white and yellow. Just going to kind of get that ball shape again. Push it into the middle. Push that off. And this is just making a lighter shade of yellow. And then you just kind of push everything back towards the center. And then on the back of this packaging, it has a tip where you can take some cornstarch and put that in there. Just put it in with a little paintbrush to make so it doesn't stick. I didn't have to do that at all. This just popped out so easily every single time. Okay, so here's my original one. Okay, and then this is the lighter shade with a little bit of white variegated through it. Okay. Really, really easy to do and fast. And so then I go around and I just kind of make sure that all of the little pieces kind of look nice and are indented around the petals where they should be, because sometimes you get a little bit extra that kind of squishes through. Make sure those petals are not kind of acting weird from taking it out of the mold. And then I just set these on a piece of wax paper on my desk and let them dry about an hour. That's all they take to get thoroughly dry. Then once they're, probably after half an hour after they're this way, then I flip them over and let them dry on the back. That's about it. Okay, so here are my samples that I made, just like this. They're nice and firm. They do feel a little like they're not marshmallowy at all. They're very, very firm. Okay, so now I'm going to tell you, I just took a little bit of copper metallic wax, and then you could apply this with your fingertips or with a little sponge dauber or a little paintbrush. But then I also have these little brushes like this, and I'll list the daubers and these little blender brushes down below the video. And I just went literally like this, round like that, just to get that copper on there. And then you just let that dry for a little bit, and then yeah, you're getting this copper metallic. See if you can see it on the paper better. It does have a really nice shimmer, and when the wax dries, it does not come off. Okay, so that's how you make the flowers. So let's get to the details of the card. All of my little stuff away. All right, so for my background papers, for my 6.5 by 5 inch card, I used newsprint florals 12 by 12 pattern cardstock, and I used this one right here that has the yellow roses. Very, very nice. And then I used this one right here for my leaves and for my wreath. And for the wreath, I used my Wreath for All Seasons cutting die for this wreath, and then use the little flower right there. And then I cut those out of the both shades of green, the light and dark green. And then on the light green, I added just a little bit of khaki ink on the edges. And then on the dark green, I just went ahead and added just a little bit of this copper wax on there, and then glued them in little groups here. And then I first glued 1, 2, 3. So that's 2 large, 1 medium rows. And then before the glue dried, and I just used Cosmic Shimmer glue, the white glue that we have here, and I just glued them, and then I tucked those leaves in before that glue dried, and then added some of the small ones around it, and it was just really easy to do. And then the greeting came from our Inside Outside Dazzle stickers in the primary colors. And yes, we know primary is blue, red, and this yellow one is back here, I think. Come on, yellow. There we are. But we also added in black, brown, and green, okay? Because we just wanted to give you extra colors. So yeah, use the green one right there. So this is our giveaway card for this episode. I'm going to tell you about it, how to get it at the end of the video. All right, so the next one, you guys, this is a little 3D card, and it comes in a pack like this. These are 3D frames. They're already die cut. You get 3 cards and 3 envelopes, and the instructions on how to assemble it are super easy. They're right there in the package. And yeah, for the background papers, I used watercolor wildflowers in a 6 by 6 because I wanted a small floral print on this. And you guys, what I did was, once I assembled this little 3D frame, which is so easy to do, it's already die cut. Basically, you're just putting the flaps, bending the flaps a little bit, and then gluing a piece in the center to keep the shape. I just cut some little strips of paper, 1, 2, 3, 4 from this paper pack, from this one right here actually, and glued that to the card front. And then the little piece right here, the square that you glue in the front, I just added this green little viney piece, covered that with paper, then glued that on the inside. And then all the little leaves that go with these pink roses came from newsprint floral cutting dies. There's a whole bunch of leaves on here, so I added that. And then of course, because I had all the leaves, I needed to use the 2 shades of green. Actually, I just used the 1 shade of green from the solid colored cardstock. Yeah, so newsprint florals, dies for the little leaves, and then the paper pack I used are from Watercolor Wildflowers. So for the pink one, you guys, if I can find my pink ones, I did the same thing that I did on the yellow. I just made, this is pink made from red air dry clay, and of course then going back and adding in that white. Did that same sort of mixing technique that I showed you with the light yellow, and I came up with 2 shades of the pink. So I started off with this one and then made as many roses as I wanted to with the dark pink, and then I had a little ball left of this dark pink, and I added some white to it and made this large rose right there that is a lighter color. Now I colored these then with the gold metallic wax, and once again just adding that wax. And this time I'm just going to use it with a dauber, and then just getting it right on just the tips of those petals. Provides such a nice little shimmer, and it's just really a nice little added detail. And so once I colored everything, then once again I placed 2 large, 1 medium, using Cosmic Shimmer glue to glue them down. And then before they could be like stuck all the way, then I quickly just added in the leaves all the way around. That's a medium one, then we've got the small here, 1, 2, 3 of those, and then 3 of the little tiny ones. Foam taped one of the little greetings, and then on the inside, this is just the little 3D pop-up like this. Just trimmed a little piece of the paper I had left over there. There's another one of these little strips that I had from here. I glued that with a little happy birthday. So yeah, just a really fun dimensional card. These are, you know, to mail these, you would have to put them in a package. These are a sequence of cards that are hand deliver cards, okay? All right, so let's check out this next one using, there we go, using the butterfly mold. So for this card, you guys, this is a 5 by 6.5 inch card, little gatefold card, using our brand new paper pack, which I just love. This is Threaded Whimsy. And as you can see here, once I went ahead and scored my card so that the card folds, the flaps went to the center to make the gatefold. And I did just use our scoreboard, or little mini scoreboard, for those flaps, and then covered the inside of the card with some of the solid cardstock in the blue. I like to do that because the original seam on the card is in the back, and if you don't put something on the inside, it kind of continues to bow. And then one of the cutouts, okay, from the paper pack right here. And then one of the little borders I just cut in half and I glued on the panels right there, and then closed that up. Then on the card front, took another one of the little card topper panels here in this rectangles, cut that out, matted it with some of the solid blue cardstock, and then foam taped it to the left flap only. And then for the little sincere sympathy and keeping you in my heart greetings, that once again came from our inside outside dazzle stickers. We call them that, you guys, because there's two pair of greetings rather. So there's the sincere sympathy, and then there's keeping you in my heart, and then there's also thinking of you. So there's something to put on the outside of your card and something for the inside. All right, so for this one, you guys, for the butterflies, sorry, I gotta get organized here. For the little butterfly mold, I took the blue right here and I added it with a little bit of white. And I've got to grab that. And I wanted to make a kind of a variegated look on my butterfly. Here is just the blue. If you just wanted to make a solid blue one as it came out of the package, okay, it is a really pretty blue for sure. But I wanted to make one that was a little variegated. So I'm going to grab my package here. Okay, so we just skipped ahead, so you guys didn't have to watch me doing that. But that took about, I don't know, 2 minutes to do. So now I'm just going to take a little bit of this. And there's no point in making a large amount of it because it's going to dry out before you can make like 10 of these. So I just made enough to make 2 or 3 of them. Now this is a much more shallow mold, and so what you're going to do is just lay it flat and then just do this. You're just kind of scraping it out as you spread it around. The good news is because it's more shallow, it's less dimensional, so it's probably easier to mail. There we go. And then you're just kind of pushing it towards the center like you did the rose, so that you make sure that everything is within the mold. You don't want any little straggly pieces, because then when you take it out, it's almost like it's got a fuzzy edge on it. And then the antenna, I just kind of use my fingernail or a pokey tool to get those in like that. And then you're making sure that everything is covered, push down like that, and then we're just gonna pop it open, pop it open, pop it out. There we go. Look at the detail, so nice. So you could absolutely do this with the wax as well, but I just really liked the variegated look on this one without the wax, but so that's how that one goes. Now I wanted to show you too what else you could do with this butterfly mold. All right, on this card, I used some crystal lacquer to make these, and this was by far the easiest one to use. Yeah, it was so fun and easy to use. Look how they come out. I'm going to show you how to do this. Now, clear, like that. And for this one, this 5 by 6.5 inch card, I covered my card with Steampunk for Everyone, this kind of rusty brown cardstock, and then actually tore out some paper from the back of this one. It had this great sort of shadowed back butterfly with the gears on it, and just tore that into sort of a rectangle, inked the edges of that with my cocoa ink pad, which I misplaced, and then I'm using copper wax, and this is a border from the paper pack, so I used my paper trimmer to cut that out and glued that. This is the matching die cut, not cutting die, but the die cut sentiment from our die cut collection. I foam taped that there. Cut this one out of one of the card toppers that has little butterflies on it, and then foam taped that right there using our giant wheel of foam tape, which is always fun to use, and then added some little copper jewel dazzle stickers right here to the center, and then to the center of this butterfly. So getting onto these, I'm going to show you how to use this, but also how to color it. So I took my copper wax and a brush or your dauber, whatever you're working with. Should have definitely used my crafty mat, but that's okay. And just kind of rubbing that around, and it's changing that color and also adding the coolest shimmer to that. You can see. And then take a little bit more wax and we could go a little darker around the edges. Just like that. Shimmer there. So once I did that, I was just taking regular Cosmic Shimmer glue and glued them directly to the card front. Really easy to do. So let's take a look at this one. Oops, I need the mold. I don't need the card, I need the mold. All right, so you've got your 3D crystal lacquer. There we go. And I'm just going to fill it with this, I'll just do the small one. And so I'm just going to start applying it like this all the way around the edge. And you'll notice that the nozzle's kind of like buried in the lacquer, just like that. And then I just sort of tap it like this to let it spread out a little bit and even out. And then I just filled it a little bit more closer to the edge, the top here. Most important thing is you just want to make sure you've got an even amount. Okay, just like that. This one needs a little bit more over here. All right, and now I'm just going to take the lacquer and put it right in there, right, those little antenna. Like that. Put the cap back on right away so you don't get a clog or drying out. And then if you get a bubble or something like that, then you could just tap it like this, and then my bubble just disappeared. It also helps it spread out. I let this dry here in the office, which is a warehouse that gets pretty cold at night, and I just left it on my desk, and I came in, I put it, I started it at like 8 in the morning, and then I came back in the next day at 8 o'clock in the morning and filled both of these, and they were hard as a rock when I popped them out so easily. So for sure it didn't take 24 hours to cure. But when I did it at home to make some more, I would say give it a good 12 hours before you pop them out. And you don't want to pop them out when they're still kind of tacky or sticky on the inside. You want them well dry, all right? And I just kind of felt on the back of them and nothing felt sticky, and then just peeled them out. So I would just try the first time you do it, leave it in there for 24 hours. It'll pop out without any problem. And then if you make another one, reduce that time in half and just see how long it takes you. All right, you guys, so we had a fantastic collection here. And I think the money saver on these is really great. So if you're watching us on our Paper Wishes webisode page, then the money saver is right there on the right-hand side. If you're watching us on YouTube, that is great, because we're trying to promote our Paper Wishes YouTube channel. I had the wrong card for this one right here, which we're doing a giveaway for our channel. So we would love it if you would hop on over to YouTube. If you're watching us at paperwishes.com webisode page, just hop on over to YouTube. Our channel there is called My Paper Wishes. We ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video with a thumbs up, and then leave us a comment on this video. And then it's a good idea to hit the notification bell at the top right-hand corner, because not only do we drop videos here like 5 times, 6 times a week, but we do 3 giveaways every week. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, if I'm hosting, Lene Gehrig, we're doing a giveaway. And you would have to like, comment, and then already be a subscriber on each video to participate in them separately. So we wait about a week, and then we reply to one of the individual's comments and say, YouTube username blank. Congratulations, you are the winner. So it's important that you know your YouTube username and then follow the instructions to claim your card. And what that means is you email us with your YouTube username and mailing address. So you guys, thanks for joining me today. Don't forget to check out the money saver on these really cool silicone molds. All the other items are listed down below the video on our paperwishes.com webisode page. Thanks for joining me today, and I'll see you in the next one.